So if you're over 30 and you're looking to get in the best shape of your life, burn some fat, build some strength, and increase your energy and confidence, you're on the right channel. Today, I'm going to talk you through how my client Dan lost 15 kilograms in less than 4 months. Not only that, but he got stronger than he's ever been in his life before, and we increased his energy and got his confidence back. We're going to go through Dan's background so you can see that he is a normal guy, just probably like you are, or girl. And I'm going to show you then what we did and how you can apply it to yourself. So Dan's background. So he is a dad to a young child, has a young family. He is also a full-time fireman. So his work pattern and work shifts are all over the place. He could be doing day shifts, night shifts, he could be called out at any time. So he needed a plan that really fit into this lifestyle. He also, because he's got a young family, needed flexibility to enjoy having a young family. So days out, holidays, just time with the family. You know, that's really important. It's something I preach. I've got young children, so I really value that as well. Dan he'd worked with a few different PTs in the past and hadn't quite got to where he wanted to be. So I knew him a bit, so he knew, and he'd been following me, so he'd seen the results that I'd got with other clients. So it gave him confidence that even though he hadn't necessarily got what he wanted from PTs before, he had the confidence to sort of sign up with me and trust me on his journey, and it more than paid off. So first of all, before we get into the whole plan, I want to offer you a free plan. So if you go to the description below, there'll be a link to my Built 30 free video course. So this is an extensive free video course. Within that, we tackle your mindset, so we get you set up for success. Because if the mind's not right, you're not going to get the results you want. So we tackle your mindset. We also get your calorie numbers in check and we get them right for you and your goals. Same with your macros. We go through what foods to focus on and what foods to avoid. And we also go into training. How often should you train? How hard should you train? What exercises you should do? And I also give you a free sample training plan. So that's the Built 30 course. It's in the description below. So check that one out and just take advantage of it. So back to Dan. Nutrition. First of all, as you can see from the before and after photos, in the before one, he was carrying more body fat than he wanted to be carrying. So we needed to sort of strip that away first. So nutrition-wise, I got his calories set for his goals. So we were pulling some body fat off first, so he was in a calorie deficit. Not a massive deficit, because I still wanted him to have plenty of energy to train and plenty of energy to work. So that's the important thing. I see PTs and other nutritionists and online influencers, they just want to put you in a massive deficit to get that weight off so they can have a really good and quick before and after. But that doesn't work in real life when you're working a hard job and you need energy. So we had a small calorie deficit. I also got his macronutrients in check. So we had a nice high protein diet. We had the fat a little bit lower, enough for health purposes, but I wanted then the protein high and I wanted the carbs fairly high because, again, he needed lots of energy for work and I wanted his gym sessions to be really productive and really energy filled, because that then means you can build more muscle because you can put more effort in, and also you're just getting that metabolism sort of really firing. I also then gave him some education on what foods it is we're looking to focus on and what foods we want to limit, because I wanted to put a lot of flexibility in because of the young family and because of his work pattern. But 80% of the time, I want you eating whole foods and I want you really focusing on those whole foods. Good for your digestion, good for your performance, good for your health. The other 20% of the time, we've got flexibility that we can add in foods as treats, social occasions, holidays, times with family, etc. So I got his nutrition in check and I made sure that the plan fit his lifestyle. I wasn't going to force a plan on him or any client that I have that doesn't fit their lifestyle, because it just won't work. It'll break down after a week or two and they'll either completely give up or they'll feel really guilty that they can't stick to the plan, and it just adds stress that they don't need in their lives. Training. Normally for someone in sort of Dan's position with the family and a busy job, I would say between 2 and 4 training sessions per week. I would start off with 2. If 2's really manageable and it's being hit every week and there's time for a 3rd or a 4th, we could add that in. Dan really likes his training and he'd had training experience before and he wanted to get back into that. So he wanted 4 times a week. However, he also went through really busy times of his life at different times, because Dan did work for me for longer than 4 months, but we got this result in less than 4 months. It was about 3.5 months. So throughout the whole time Dan worked with me, it was about a year in total, he had lots of different things going on with work, with family and so on. So we had 4 times for the most part, but at certain times when things got busier, we went down to 3 times. Again, flexibility. You can do this with your training as well as nutrition. When things are busier, pull back a little bit. When you've got more time, you can push on. We focused on big compound lifts. He wanted to be strong again. So we did squats, we did deadlifts, we did bench presses, we did dumbbell presses, we did pull-ups, we did rows, all the big movements that you know you should be doing. We also then added in assistance exercises because I want him strong all over and I want his body and his joints to feel good and feel strong. We also added in cardio. He really enjoyed mountain biking. So at the times of the year when he was going mountain biking, we actually made that his 4th session because he would ride pretty hard. So he was getting a good amount of cardio as well. We did a lot of different things on like rowing machines to really get that fitness up and to help us with the fat metabolism. So back to the nutrition, when we got a good amount of fat off, and we were then sort of in a position where we got fairly lean, then we can adjust. Then the nutrition can be pushed up. Because when you've lost a good amount of body fat and you've got lean, your body utilizes nutrients better. So then we could fuel him up and we could really push for performance, push for muscle building, push for strength, and really fill out that frame of his. And he got stronger than he's ever been before. And he had been strong previously, but he got really strong and he was so excited and so happy to be there, whilst also having visible abs. So yeah, lifestyle. This is where the flexibility came in. So, young family, I don't know why I'm writing flexibility. I don't know why I'm writing it wrong, anyway. But flexibility, he needed flexibility. So most of the time, we had an 80-20 rule. But then when it got to school holidays, it got to him going on holiday, then because he'd been so good and we'd got him in such good shape, we could bring that a little bit more, 60% on plan, 40% off plan, or 40% flexibility. Now you wouldn't do that for the long term. That is more if you're going on holiday, if you're doing extra bits with the family, with social occasions and so on. But because we had built this really, really good base, we had got him lean, we'd got him strong, we had built muscle, you then have more flexibility for your lifestyle. So make sure you do that first. Don't go really flexible from the outset because your body's not in a position to do it if you've got significant body fat to lose. Working long shifts, he needed meals and snack ideas that could be on the go. So this was different shake things. This was having like batch cooking meals up, having quick things like microwavable rice packets, having cooked chicken breast, having, yogurt, fruit, all these things that can just be in the fridge. They can just be taken out quickly, eaten, done. You don't need to spend an hour cooking every meal and making it this big culinary masterpiece, because again, it won't last for the long term, and it just doesn't survive first contact with real life. So what can you do? What can you take right now? I would say, be honest with where your body is. If you've got significant body fat to lose, you're going to want to cut that away first. So nutrition wise, you're going to want your calorie deficit, you're going to want your macros in check. So I'm going to want you, if you've got significant body fat to lose, between 2 and 2.5 grams protein per kilogram of body weight. Fat, we want to be about 0.8 grams per kilogram body weight. And then the rest, you're going to fill up with carbs. And that is how you're going to get your macros set and have yourself in a calorie deficit. Use the Built 30 course. Just go to the description. I talk you through the calculations. You can do it for absolutely free. With the calorie deficit, to start with, go in a 10% deficit. Nice and easy. Then give it a couple of weeks, because if you're changing your food, if you're changing your training, if you're doing all these things, you may find that is enough to get you on that fat loss journey. In fact, probably it is enough, and it will do it slow and steady, and you'll have energy whilst you're doing it. And then what we're going to do is training wise, just start with 2 or 3 times per week. Be honest with yourself how much you can actually fit into your diary every single week. If you need to start with 2, start with 2. If you can start with 3, start with 3. But make sure it's realistic. Don't set yourself up too high on the sessions and then not be able to complete them. So I would say start with 2. We're focusing on the big movements. Again, in that Built 30 course in the description, I go through the exercises you should be doing, and I give you a free sample training week so you could see how that looks in a week. Then flexibility, we're going 80% what we'll call them good foods, good whole foods, 20% treats. Now with this, again, I'll talk through it in the Built 30 course. I keep plugging it, but honestly, there's so much information in there and it's all free. So just go and do it. With the treats, we do things like calorie banking, because what we need to do is we need to make sure on average over the week, consistently over time, we are in a calorie deficit. So there's no point doing Monday to Friday where you're 80% on plan, and then on Saturday and Sunday, not sticking to 20%, not sticking to the calorie deficit, and then blowing it all, because you won't get the results you want. So things like calorie banking for that flexibility, but you can still have flexibility to have treats, social occasions, family events, and so on. So that is how Dan lost 15 kilograms in about 3.5 months. And not only how he kept it off, but how we progressed and got him even leaner, more muscular, and really strong, full of energy, confidence through the roof. You can have that too, I promise you. You just need to know where to start, and you need some good coaching. So go to the description, Built 30, do the free course. If you've got any questions, send me a DM on Instagram or send me a message in the school community where the Built 30 course is held. I will help you out. Again, I will give you pointers on that for free. If you're ready to start one-to-one coaching, go to Instagram, drop me a follow, send me a DM with the word ready, and we'll just have a chat, free chat, about whether coaching is right for you at this time and the different options that you've got. But for now, do the Built 30 course, go through this, get yourself set up, and go and smash some excellent results. And I will see you back here on the next video.